The High Court in Pietermaritzburg has suspended the execution of the will of the late King Goodwill Zwelithini. This is pending a trial court determining the authenticity and validity of the signature on the will. The court has also dismissed Queen Sibongile Dlamini-Zulu's quest for 50% of the late Amazulu King Goodwill Zwelithini's estate. For more on developments as we've been seeing and hearing them throughout the day, we're joined by senior reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo. Ziyanda, would it be safe to say that these applicants have been dealt a heavy blow?
Well, yes and no. I mean, the Queen Mother's application being dismissed with costs is definitely a blow to her. However, when you look at the application by the two princesses, that's Ntombi Zosuthi and Dando Yenkosi Dlamini-Zulu, I should say, they have actually been given a 15-day leeway, in the sense that, remember, they were contesting the signature of the late king on that will. They're questioning the authenticity and the validity of that signature. And so Judge Mjabuliseni Madondo saying, well, I'm going to suspend the execution of this will, but within 15 days you need to launch a new legal challenge, which will then look into this matter, because two writing experts gave different conclusions regarding the issue of the signature. So in that regard, they've got 15 days to do so. Otherwise, if they fail to actually mount this new legal battle, then the ruling that the execution of the will cease to exist. Another part that came out was the third aspect of Prince Zulu, who had initially mounted a legal challenge to interdict the coronation of Prince Zulu as king, and the judge being very explicit and really emphasizing that the applications that were before the court in January regarding the will and that of the marriage of the first queen have got nothing to do with the succession debate. They've got nothing to do with the ascension of Zulu to the throne. But legal expert Mpumelelo Zikalala can explain then whether or not the jubilation that we're seeing outside this court is warranted.
Definitely it is, because what it does then it paves the way for the coronation of Isilo Masizon. And it also gives an indication of what the appeal procedures or the appeal process would be, and the decision thereof, in terms of saying the court would look and say, let's look at the composition of the meeting. If you are saying the meeting was not correctly constituted, did you even attend? If you did not attend the meeting, then on what basis are you alleging that it wasn't done correctly? So in those instances, you are dealing with hearsay evidence, we can't entertain your application. So if a new application were to be brought, it must be brought by people that attended the meeting, were legitimately supposed to be at the meeting, but most importantly, they will be able to display the various flaws in which the meeting went in and did not cover. But other than that, there's nothing else which is stopping the President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, even the Premier, of saying, we have complied with all the processes that are there, we are going ahead with the coronation of the Prince. The only person which we may say was given a small reprieve is the Princess, in terms of saying you are given 15 days to mount your application. In doing so, make sure that this time you use action proceedings so that you can be able to have people in the witness box give evidence as to the authenticness of the signature in which you allege that it wasn't correct. However, even if at the end of the day the will of the king would be declared as invalid, or that is not the true reflection of the intentions of the king, it has no bearing on the manner in which the King Zulu would have been installed. Let's remember, the judge said this in a number of times. These two processes are not linked with each other. They are separate processes governed by separate legislation, governed by different customary practices. So they're not linked in any manner.
I mean, when we look at the first Queen Sibongile Dlamini-Zulu's application, where she was making claim that she's entitled to 50% of the late king's estate, the judge basically saying that it's too premature to even make a determination.
Definitely. The judge was simply saying, where's the trigger for the dispute? Has anyone disputed that you are a civil marriage wife? Has anyone disputed that you should be getting your 50%? If the handler or the executive of the estate hasn't said anything with regards to that, you may even find that there's a redistribution agreement that is there. We can't deal with those processes at this particular stage in time. So wait up until the process is done. Only then you can come and place your concerns.
Bumelelo Zigalala is a legal expert, Duduzile, basically outlining that the jubilation that we're seeing outside this court at this particular point in time is warranted, and really this is why then you would have heard Prince Thulani Zulu, who speaks on behalf of King Amazulu Zwelithini, saying that, well, they are really now, there's no reason why the king should not be coronated, but also giving thanks then to Amazulu traditional Prime Minister Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi for the support that he's given to the children of the late Queen Dlamini-Zulu, who, of course, you'll know, was the one that the late king's will installed as the, or identified, I should say, as the rightful person to become the regent on the throne. So at this stage, according to both customary and civil law, the understanding and the view is that Prince Misuzulu can now be installed as King Misuzulu Zwelithini.
Newzroom Africa's senior reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo, thank you very much for that detail.